and welcome to NDTV Auto. BMW India has decided to change the way it welcomes its customers. They're calling it Retail.Next, and to talk more about it, I have with me the right man, Mr. Vikram Pawah. Vikram, thank you so much for joining us today. First question, what was the need for a rethink about the way you transact with your customers?
I think the need comes from our customers because we can see that the customers are changing how they're interacting with brands, how they're interacting with the experiences while purchasing or even servicing product is changing a lot. So need comes purely from a customer angle, but also as a brand, we've always been a very dynamic brand and we always set new benchmarks. So we thought we'll also create something that is disruptive. And that's why we say we're actually changing the game in the auto industry by this, because we're not talking about a traditional car showroom anymore. We're talking about actually bringing the car into your lounge. It's more like that, right? Because that's every passionate driver's dream, that wish I could park my car in my lounge, right? So that's exactly where we're extending it to. You can see that you're sitting in a lounge right now. There are cars around you. They are in a very free-flowing manner, because that's how life is these days, that we don't like it to be too structured. We like it to be a little bit more experiential and flowing. And that's exactly what we're providing our customers, a great place to come and experience the brand and connect with the brand.
There's an in-store experience, but what else can a customer expect from a Retail.Next dealership?
So first of all, what the customer can expect is that anything that they got to do with BMW, they can do it in one place. So for example, if they wanted to come and buy a car, it's available in this single showroom. If they wanted to come and service their car, that interaction can also happen in the same format. Similarly, if you're buying a used car or coming in to trade your car, again, all those transactions will happen under one roof. And dealers where we have also Mini and Motorrad brands will also sit under one roof. So it's basically a customer experience center for everything that they got to do with us. And it also comes with a lot of digital tools in there. So it's not just about the design. So it's not a typical, what you call as a new CI program that auto industry is used to. This is a little bit more than just a design concept. It's also about how we introduce new digital tools for customers to interact with, how we have introduced new roles and processes that are more focused towards the customer. So all these combinations will give a kind of a momentous or a kind of a legendary experience to a customer, no matter what the interaction is all about.
So this Gurgaon showroom is the first one to be on Retail.Next, and do you plan to change all the showrooms that you have, all the dealerships that you have?
Yes, so you're correct. The Gurgaon showroom here is the first lighthouse project that we have completed in India. It's actually a second in the world and first in the region as well. So that's really good to see that we're actually creating this new landmark place here in Gurgaon to start with, which is our home as a BMW in India. But yes, we will complete all the showrooms starting from now till end of 2026. All our facilities will convert into this new format. And for that, dealer investors will be investing around 365 crores over this period.
Mm-hmm. And is there also a focus on sustainability and maybe promoting local sourcing?
Absolutely it is. I think sustainability is part of BMW's core strategy. So not only in our products, but you'll see that the materials that are used here, the kind of textures that are used here are more sustainable from a longer term perspective. And also we're bringing a lot of local elements of India into play as well. So you would see that when you walk down the stairs of this showroom, you'll see there's a big artwork, right? A red piece of artwork that signifies all the mudras of yoga, which comes from India, absolutely. So each showroom will have something unique, and we'll try to link it up to the area that showroom belongs to. So for example, when we go to Agra, for example, where we did one of our first pilot of this kind of a concept, there we use marble in the hospitality area, the marble mesh and all those kind of things. So you try to connect with what's local in India for that area and represent that as well.
Mm-hmm. We have seen a couple of luxury brands opening their charging centers for all brands. Is that something that you are also doing?
We actually started that concept. If you remember, when we launched our electric products 2 years ago, we had 51 charging points across our dealer network, right, which are all fast DC charging stations up to 50 kilowatts. And we made it sure that they're accessible 24 hours a day for any customer who wants to charge.
And will they be able to access the lounge also?
Uh, yes, absolutely they can if they're a BMW customer. Why not? Or want to buy a BMW? But no, we welcome everybody to come in the Nexus launch.
All right. So how does the customer's experience in terms of service changes? Because that's a very important part of customer experience, and that's where lots of gruntled customers come in. So disgruntled customers
No,
come in.
I mean, not for us maybe, but
Yeah. No, I'm generally saying
but yes, you're
that
right.
generally tends to become a
That's
weaker
a little bit.
point.
So
Yeah.
and that's the
Not
whole,
for you, but generally.
You're right. I mean, that part of ownership experience is a little bit different than the purchasing experience. You're absolutely right about those distinctions. And that's why we said that for us, it doesn't matter that what ownership cycle you're in. Your interaction will take place in the same environment. So it's not that you have a separate entrance for service. You enter only from a single entrance. That's the concept here. And everything is visible in front of you. You want to go and buy some accessories and lifestyle, that's in front of you. You want to just go and have a coffee and have a chat with a sales consultant about certain topic that you were discussing with them earlier. You can do that there. Like I said, you're bringing your trade-in car. You still enter from the same interaction point. Servicing, right there next to the showroom is also the service counters. You can just sit there and talk to the service advisor right there. So it's all about giving a home to our customers, right? Not compartmentalizing it and not making them feel it's only black and white and drab. It's a bit more lively. You can see the color combination. It's lively, it's welcoming. It's a place you want to spend time.
And have you also spent on upgradation of skills?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that the
Absolutely.
interaction at the dealership level and also at the service level.
It is absolutely there. You're right. So that's what I said. It's not only about the design. It's also be introducing new roles. For example, you have a hostess that will welcome you up front, and you can see that in the layout of the showroom. As soon as you enter, there's somebody, a greeter, who greets you probably and then takes you to the area that you want to spend time in. Similarly, there are certain roles introduced for the back end as well, which will ensure that certain customer needs are addressed end-to-end basis. So we were one of the first ones in the industry to introduce the concept of BMW Genius. A person who's not a sales consultant, but is an expert on every car and every technology in it. And if you just wanted to come and have a chat about those technologies, you could do that, because it is becoming a very high-tech cars if you look at it, as we progress. And we can see that people can get a little bit intimidated by that at times as well, because you can't grasp all of it in one go. So you can just come in, have a coffee, have a chat with the genius, and do those kind of things as well. So all those new roles have been introduced. You spoke about sustainability. Similarly, what we do is that you'll see here that the water that we serve here, absolutely those bottles are glass bottles. We don't use plastic anymore, right? So all those small little things have been taken care of.
Your biggest rival in the country and maybe in the world as well, Mercedes, has introduced retail of the future, where dealerships are not even keeping inventory. How do you view that, and is that something that you have seen? Do you think that's a model that sometime you would want to consider? How do you see?
I see,
because this is a complete contrast of that.
Absolutely. So we feel that the dealership are an integral part of our business. They're absolutely integral part. I know there is a lot of debate. People will say that, yeah, but the world is going digital. We are a passionate brand. We are a dynamic brand. We know our customer interact with our brand on a physical space. Of course, they do the research up front. Of course, they can do certain transaction online. But when it comes to feeling the product or connecting with the product, that's absolutely physical. And that's why you see, actually, we've increased the size of the showroom from past. So you're right. It's absolutely against what our competition is doing, because we believe that people actually want to spend time with their cars and products. They want to be able to interact and connect with them much better. We don't want to give them, like I said, a black and white space where you just come and transact. No, you can come here, spend your time. We do a lot of events here, customer events in these spaces as well now. Since this opened 2 months ago, there have at least 4 or 5 events have happened here where people just came in to just spend time, including the cricket match as well was telecast here on the big screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you seen that people have lesser time now? Especially your customers, are they in a hurry to finish the transaction, or do they want to come here, experience completely, and they don't mind spending a couple of extra hours?
It depends. So I think customers have both the needs. So of course, I've seen that during the week they're in a hurry and they want quick transactions, absolutely, and those are done either remotely, that we provide those services to them. For example, we have pick up and drop service, for example, that people want to send on a weekday. They don't come to the showroom or the workshop. We go and pick up their cars and drop them back to their place. So that shows me that they have a need clearly for having something done in a hurry, in a very efficient way, which we provide them. At the same time, like I said, that we also see that they also want to spend some quality and leisure time as well. They want to do that as well. So like I said, when we had the cricket match here, or recently we had an electric night, what we call as the iDrive night, where we displayed all the electric cars and we had a talk about electromobility. Because people want to learn about that. It's a new technology. They have a lot of doubts. There were a lot of good attendance, a good environment here in a very relaxed way. People could really enjoy the evening. So there is both. And I think this space provides that both the concepts really.
All right, now that you have spoken about electric, let's shift focus and talk about electrics. How is the electric portfolio doing in India? World across, BMW's electric portfolio seems to be doing fairly well compared to the rest of the luxury players. How is India performing?
I think we are absolutely leading the same way as we do worldwide as well. We are absolute leaders in India, that, in electromobility in the luxury space. So I think we're the first one who crossed 2,000 deliveries in the country in a very short time. So a great customer response to that. These cars have already run 65 lakh kilometers in India. So not a small, run either. So they're being used as if it was a traditional engine.
We have seen some discounting coming in the market, especially last month. We saw some ads also from yours also. We saw. What's the situation there? Do you think demand is tapering down a little bit?
No, I can't see the demand tapering down. I think if I look at the figures actually, they absolutely show me a different figure right now. So let's look at the 7 Series where we have a petrol, diesel and electric, right? A customer can choose either one of those and they're more or less priced the same on road, right? So we are seeing almost 40% of customers choosing electric in 7 Series. So we crossed 500 deliveries of 7 Series, which is phenomenal. That is something that you could not have imagined 2 years ago. Okay. Similarly, when we sold iX last year, the penetration rates for similar kind of price point was around 35%. Mini saw 30% penetration levels, right? Similarly, we just introduced the iX1, right, our latest entrant into the electric space in BMW brand. Again, we are seeing a good take rate on that as well. Of course, it's early days. We just launched it. The supplies have just started. So we're seeing good take rates on that. So I think it's all about the value proposition in the end. As long as you're able to provide the value proposition to customers at similar price point, we're seeing they're choosing what suits them. So we have, like I said, now with these 2,000 cars, we know the usage statistics of people as well, right? They're not driving long distances. Okay, they're charging once a week, even though they don't need to, right? And they're charging either at their home or their office, where we have installed their private charger, the wallbox charger that we provide with the cars. So clearly, people are saving money, number one, right, by adopting to electric, and number two, they're also doing the right thing for the environment.
Good you mentioned iX1 because again, Mercedes also launched EQA. Have you seen any change once the launch of EQA happened? Because
I think the demand and inquiry of iX1 rather increased, because being leaders in electric space, that if there's any new option that comes into the market, we always get asked the question, what have we got to offer in this space? And absolutely, our X1 is a perfect car. It's a replica of a X1, which has been appreciated so much, still in waiting period for the X1 still. So you can see that a lot of customers now saying, okay, I might even consider an electric version of that X1 because it's exactly the same size. It's no different. So that's one good thing about our cars, is that electric designs are not different than the rest of the design, right? So a customer doesn't have to choose based on a design or compromise in any way. They're choosing just the drivetrain, what they like.
Okay, now another very important product, and that's 5 Series. You launched
the long wheelbase,
yeah, long wheelbase 5 Series some time back, and now the long wheelbase E-Class is coming, and they have specced it quite well. So how do you think that competition is going to pan out?
It's going to be a good competition as always. So we always welcome these competition. I think we always are neck to neck in these races, and I love that, because what it does is that you look at any launch that we have done in the past as well, and it just expands the segment. Like I gave you the example of 7 Series when we launched it, as far as we know, we are absolute leaders in that space now, right? But that has actually almost doubled that segment of 7 Series and S-Class and the other options that are available in that particular segment. So I think more options a customer have, it actually gives them more ideas to buy more cars. So it's actually good for the industry. I like that.
And what is your view on the growth this year in the luxury segment? We have seen that, since the time I've been following this industry, luxury segment has not been able to cross that 50,000 threshold, and more or less it's the same market share strategy pattern also that keeps getting followed. The lower players, the smaller players keep going up and down, but it's the same pattern between the first two rivals. So how do you
one
think?
thing is that at least the growth is still there. What I'm happy about is that again we can see good growth in the segment, really back to back, third year in a row, which is good, and we are still, I think, outpacing the overall market. Because when I look at the Vahan figures, what I looked at last time, end of July or so, I think the market was still around 7 or 8% growth overall from registration perspective, not from wholesale perspective, but actual registration of cars. And the premium segment, what we call as premium segment, was roughly around 11 to 12%. So clearly it's going at a higher pace than the market itself, which is, I think, a good sign, because it was a long time coming. You're right. We've been waiting for this, that finally there should be more premium cars being sold as Indian economy grows, and I think we can see that happening now. Whether it cross 50,000, my expectation is it will this time. The way it is headed right now, it should, absolutely. And whether there'll be change in the lineups, of course, there would be more closer race that you will notice this year compared to previous year.
Okay, and what is the expectation on BMW's own growth?
I think we'll grow again solid double digit, which I said at the start of the year. I'm still confident of that, delivering that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Vikram. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
taking
Vikram.
time out.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much.